As the 21 days deadline for the motion of no confidence filed against the Prime Minister continues to elapse, there has been much consternation in some circles as to why the motion has not been brought to Parliament as yet. A letter circulating on social media purporting to be a response from the Speaker of the House, Michael Perkins, to the filers of the motion is that he is seeking legal advice on the matter. That has been over a week ago. Still no answer as to when the motion would be heard. Former leader of government business and parliamentarian Sam Conda said there should be no delay in having the motion presented before Parliament.
Where it makes it easier is that the Act, which gave a time limit on the debating the motion of no confidence, it was passed on the Speaker, the President Speaker, in 2019, which says in 21 days, once a motion, because that was the standoff in 2013, 2015. That the government was not taking the motion of no confidence to Parliament. And so one of the things that Team Unity did when they got to office was to introduce a time limit. And that time limit says that in 21 days, once a motion of no confidence is filed, in 21 days, it should be heard and debated in Parliament.
Social activist and former government minister Dwight Astafan argues in his latest commentary that there is a school of thought that suggests that the filers of the motion, who are members of cabinet, must first resign before filing a motion against the administration.
There is a view that it would be at best awkward and at worst unacceptable for cabinet ministers to be signatories to a motion of no confidence against an administration of which they are members. People who hold that view think that these 6 gentlemen should have first resigned from cabinet. Why didn't they sign a formal group resignation letter before their letter to the GG, address their resignation letter to the Prime Minister, enclose a copy of that letter to the GG, and then inform the country accordingly? Wouldn't that have removed any doubts and potential delays?
But Mr. Conda posits that based on the National Assembly Elections Act, any member of Parliament can file a motion of no confidence.
I'm advising you to look at section of the National Election Ordinance, National Election Act, with section 20, subsection 1, which says that any member of Parliament, minister or not, because all ministers of government are members of Parliament, and it says any member of Parliament could bring a motion to the Parliament.
According to Section 20, Part 1 of the National Assembly Elections Act, any member may introduce any bill or propose any motion for debate in or may present any petition to the National Assembly, and the same shall be debated and disposed of according to the standing orders of the National Assembly. In this instance, the standing order relating to the motion of no confidence would be the Motion of No Confidence Act, passed in 2019. In Section 3 of this Act, it says where a question of no confidence in the government is brought before the National Assembly in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and the National Assembly Elections Act, the question of no confidence shall be determined by resolution of the National Assembly within a period not exceeding 21 days. There is no mention in either Act on whether the parliamentarian must be a member of government or an opposition member. The 21 days is expected to have elapsed next week. The country awaits the outcome. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
In a press release from the People's Action Movement, party leader Sean Richards responded to the Governor-General's letter in which he refused to grant the request of PAM and CCM cabinet members to remove sitting Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris from office. Following internal unresolved issues within the three-party unity government, CCM and PAM entities of the coalition wrote to the Governor-General indicating they had withdrawn their support from the PLP member Prime Minister. In response to the PAM-CCM request, the Governor-General wrote in response that he had no constitutional foundation to act for the removal of the Prime Minister. Leaders of PAM and CCM have indicated they had obtained legal counsel from a London-based Queen's Counsel, and it was on that basis they had made the request to the Governor-General. Richard said PAM and CCM were disappointed in the Governor-General's decision, but respected his decision. Meanwhile, PAM and CCM had proceeded to file a motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister and is still awaiting a decision from the Speaker of the National Assembly as the 21-day time limit for the holding of the motion in Parliament draws near. According to Richards, there is high confidence the motion will be heard and passed. However, some political pundits believe the Prime Minister would not allow the motion to proceed and would dissolve Parliament and call a general election instead. While the political theatrics of the Team Unity fallout with their PLP partner continues to play out in public, officials of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party say they are very ready to contest all seats on St. Kitts in the next general elections whenever it is called. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
When visiting St. Martin, you want clean, affordable accommodations. You need Midtown Motel in the heart of Phillipsburg, a place where you can relax, take a stroll on Great Bay Beach, and that provides you easy access to great shopping. Midtown Motel, located on Front Street, Phillipsburg, St. Martin. Call Midtown Motel at 721-542-0614 and book your stay today.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Mill House Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Mill House Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
Governor of the ECCB, Timothy Anthony, commenced his 2022 Round of Country Outreach Mission in Anguilla on Wednesday, 4th May. Governor Anthony commenced his engagements with a courtesy call to the Governor of Anguilla, Her Excellency Delini Daniel Salvaratnam, and discussions with Leader of the Opposition, Cora Richards Hodge. Governor Anthony also met with the principal, staff, and students of the Valley Primary School, the ECCB's mentorship school. He took the opportunity to visit the school's computer lab, which is nearing completion. In March of 2021, the ECCB made a donation of 100,000 EC dollars towards the rebuilding of the lab, which was destroyed by Hurricane Irma. Governor Anthony and his team are also making presentations on the ECCU's performance and prospects to the social partners, including the Christian Council, the Evangelical Association, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, as well as trade unions, non-governmental organizations, and youth. The ECCB delegation to Anguilla includes Head of the Advisory Services Unit, Governor's Immediate Office, Dr. Ifema Swardor, Acting Director of the Corporate Relations Department, Shermalon Kirby, Examiner in the Financial Sector Supervision Department, Ella Willius, and Economics in the Research, Statistics, and Data Analysis Department, Kevin Woods. The country outreach missions align with the vision and priorities of the ECCB set out in its citizen engagement and stakeholder relations strategy, which was introduced early into Governor Anthony's first term.
Civil servants, pensioners, and workers in the Skills Training Empowerment Program, or STEP, of the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis are to receive their 10% increase in salaries and wages as of 25th May 2022. The increase of 10% for salaries and wages was announced on Labor Day by Minister of Finance, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris. At the time, the minister did indicate that the increase would be retroactive to January 2022. According to Prime Minister Harris, the increase will also help to stimulate the economic recovery of St. Kitts and Nevis.
This is another clear example of our investing in our people as we put more money in the pockets of a large number of our citizens and residents. These resources will translate to increase purchasing power for approximately 4,000 salaried civil servants, 1,064 government auxiliary employees, 1,365 pensioners, and 2,800 step workers. This also has the great potential to propel increased economic activities, which will, in turn, contribute to the economic recovery and stimulate job creation across our beautiful federation.
A press release issued Friday, 6 May, from the press unit in the office of the Prime Minister states in part, quote, all beneficiaries, that is, civil servants, pensioners, and step workers, will receive a one-time payment of the accumulated fees for the period January to April during the government's pay cycle in May, end quote. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Want to buy some fresh fruits, vegetables, or ground provision, but don't have the time to go to the market or even to find parking? Look no further. Green Market and Delivery is your solution. Green Market and Delivery is an e-commerce store that sells and delivers local produce to customers in St. Kitts and Nevis. Anything you purchase, you can get fresh from the market and delivered directly to your door. Log on to www.greenmarketskn.com. Click on the e-store link, choose your items, and shop away. We have a wide array of products from fruits, vegetables, local products, spices and seasonings, and much more. Save time and energy. Shop on greenmarketskn.com, your one-stop shop for fresh local produce.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Stay abreast with news on St. Martin with SMN News. Visit www.smn-news.com for up-to-date news, scoops, opinions, and hard-hitting facts. SMN News, we tell it like it is. Visit our website www.smn-news.com.
An open interactive event can be described as
tremendous, effective,
on par with any conference around the world.
From exhibitions to trade shows, corporate events to product launches, from press events to political functions. We are the secret sauce behind events that make you go, wow. We've staged multiple world-class events in the Caribbean and develop the skill to deliver quality in every detail, whether the event is live or fully virtual, or maybe even somewhere in between. At Open Interactive, we got your events covered. Get your free quotation today at www.madebyopen.com.
Central Bank Governor Richard Biles says the inflation rate was projected to end the financial year 2021-22 at 7.8% and close 2022-23 at 5%. This forecast was based on the impact of increases in international commodity and shipping prices on domestic inflation and an improvement in domestic demand. However, he says these forecasts did not incorporate the impact of the Ukraine-Russia conflict on the domestic economy. Therefore, the Bank of Jamaica will revise its forecast upwards.
The upside risks include higher international commodity and shipping prices associated with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, higher inflation among Jamaica's main trading partners, further increases in inflation expectations, and further increases in some regulated prices. The downside risks include lower external demand, particularly given a fifth wave of the pandemic in major economies like China.
As such, Biles says these risks suggest the average inflation for this fiscal year may go higher than projected in December 2021. The central bank governor says by these actions, the bank aims to influence inflation back to the target range over the next 2 years.
They are intended to have three interrelated effects. One, to cause liquidity in the financial system to fall and therefore cause interest rates on deposits and loans to rise. Secondly, to temper the demand for foreign currency and hence moderate the pace of depreciation in the exchange rate and its impact on inflation. And thirdly, to generally reduce demand in the economy and consequently businesses' ability to increase their selling prices to consumers.
Justin Graham, CVM Live.
Labour Minister Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot emphasized the significance of the International Workers' Day celebrations in keeping workers organized. She says it's also a time for review of services and salaries. She also expressed concern about the thousands of workers who lost their jobs because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Of greater importance to her, though, is the thousands of employees who do not have a trade union representative to protect them from exploitation at the hands of their employers.
Sometimes they could be exploited by the employers, and they do not have a voice. They do not have a body to represent them. And we have to think of these people. And a lot of them are women. They are single mothers. They have children to care for. They have to send them to school. They have to take care of their health conditions.
Trade Union Federation President Julian Monrose emphasized the importance of calling the event by its proper name, and that is International Workers' Day and not May Day or Labor Day. He called for decent compensation for employees, but that, he says, has to be coupled with respect for the workforce.
There must be freedom from all forms of harassment. All forms of harassment, whether sexual or otherwise, in the workplace. And the workplace must be safe and healthy for all. The trade unions cannot give up on those fights. Every day, these must be considerations for us.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre highlighted the principles of the trade union movement upon which the St. Lucia Labour Party was founded, and he recounted the struggles for justice for workers.
The government, in keeping with tradition, recognizes the rights of workers to organize themselves into such bodies as will protect their common interests. We shall do all in our power to foster their birth and foster their growth in whatever manner circumstances permit.
Guest speaker Dr. Jimmy Fletcher says the external environment impacting the labor market is very dynamic. He also spoke of the effect COVID-19 and climate change is having on economies.
Some of the things that you would be aware of. The globalization has altered the landscape completely, and I'll speak about all of these things in just a little bit more detail later on. Technology is disrupting our lives and disrupting the labor market and disrupting our economies. Our population is shifting in ways that you may not be aware of, but it really is shifting, and the makeup of our population is shifting. Socio-political priorities are changing. Our economy is evolving. And finally, COVID-19 and climate change are impacting the present and the future.
Globalization and trade liberalization, he added, has decimated certain parts of the manufacturing sector. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
This is Russia's destructive siege of the last remaining Ukrainian resistance in Mariupol. Under the smoldering ruins of the Azovstal steel plant are 200 civilians believed to be trapped underground with Ukrainian soldiers. Officials in Kyiv say they are making a new attempt to get them out with the help from the UN.
Currently, Russian shelling and the assault on Azovstal has not stopped, but civilians still need to be taken out. Women, children, many children who are still there. Just imagine this hell. More than 2 months of constant shelling, bombing, constant death nearby. We expect an effective regime of silence, but we are doing everything to find a solution and to save our military.
Russian tanks are not far away. Their allied separatist fighters patrol the streets. This fighter thinks victory in Azovstal is near.
Everything is fine. We are working. We are fighting. Sometimes. We're not far. Just a little left. Step by step.
In Moscow, soldiers are preparing for Monday's parade to mark victory against Nazi Germany during the Second World War. But in the war in Ukraine, President Vladimir Putin doesn't have much to celebrate. The war has isolated his nation and united its foes.
No punishment or sanctions can break the will of our people, of the Russian leadership, aimed at defending the historical truth, the legitimate interests of the Russian Federation, and preventing direct threats to our security being created on our borders, threats to our culture, our history. All this is currently at stake.
With Russian troops now preparing to take a full control of Mariupol, it's not clear when or how this war will come to an end. Priyanka Gupta, Al Jazeera.
The West Indies selectors have chosen Shea Hope as vice-captain, but Murray believes they should have gone in a different direction, with his choice being one that many would not have expected.
I maybe get a lot of stick and a lot of blows for it, but I would give it to Hetmyer, simply because Hetmyer is a young man as well. He's obviously has some kind of cricketing brain. He doesn't show it when he's batting, but he does have a cricketing brain because he's led a West Indies youth team to a world championship. So he may be very well be one that also needs that responsibility. Put him as vice captain and let him understand his role. Let him understand Puran's role.
He says his recommendation for vice captain is not rooted in ill will toward Hope, but one with the future of the regional side in mind.
I'm not happy with that. I don't think Hope should be the vice captain. I think they should be looking to, just as they groomed Puran under Pollard, they shouldn't be grooming a younger man. I think Hetmyer is 22, 23. He's a couple of years younger than Puran. Puran is 25, 26. I would have given it to him because I think Hetmyer can make the team in both formats of the game. I don't think Hope will make the team in the T20. Unless they have a particular rule for him.
Murray maintains his belief that the vice-captain role should go to someone younger than the captain in the interest of proper succession planning.
Puran gives up in a year or 2 years. Are they going to name Hope as captain? I don't think so. They're going to look for a younger person. So I always think if you give your vice captain, should always be a younger person than your captain who is going to groom, who you're looking to when your captain eventually calls it a day or he's dropped for various reasons. You can look at him and say, okay, this has been the vice captain. This is the man that's going to fill into the slot.
Kent Fuentes, TTT Sport.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the 4-day forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.